I guess this is number 3, and I've spent my life doing this, trying to get the law to work for me. This is back to Ron Sizer's place. He's got all kinds of lies. First of all, it was rented unfurnished. He left his mother's furniture and clothing up in the attic, mildewed and molded, and I mean, and then here he's saying in this complaint where he's charged me, kept my deposit, and turned this over, evicted me, and now they tell me, well, you really didn't evict me, you just look like me. So the cops were out there. What would you think? He turned it over to the credit bureau, as far as I know. The vacuum cleaner, this is part of his letter to me, damages to rental units. Now then, I'm 75 years old. Last couple of days I had a birthday. So this was '08. The place was clean. How much damage could I do anyway? So he's lied. They all did. If that's hard for you to believe, they have. He has said that okay, the vacuum cleaner's missing a part. Do you know that he wasn't supposed to leave any vacuum cleaners? They were in a little closet, and they were from back in they were cheapies. They didn't even run properly. And here he's accusing me. The vacuum cleaner's missing a part, and without it, it will not work. I purchased an inexpensive one for the rental unit for $70. There's a small leak in the water pipe in the basement that drips on so he has totally, the entrance room has either coffee or cola stains on the carpet, etc. I could go on, and it's no sense, because this is, after they've gassed me and everything, this is what they turned over to the credit bureau, and it's lucky if you have a job, you need money to pay your rent. He says the stove was a mess. It's something about the toilet. Water was cut off. It's so ludicrous. The 2 clean air deflectors that attached to the heat and cooling grills were in pieces, and he adds, I don't even know what he's talking about. I was being soaked with chemicals, and he illegally put in a new furnace before I came in there with gas, which he didn't have a building permit. And you know what, when I called Botetourt County, they said there was nothing they could do about it. Well, it's all of it's lies. And he lies here. He says to me here, he says, you told me you left Richfield because of the putty in the windows was triggering your problem and would not allow. I don't know what you say, because it's all lies. And if you can't get them before court and sue them. And by the way, he made a comment while I was living there that I'd never, and it was off the cuff, and I wondered, well, what's he saying that for? And I can't accuse these people of anything, because they'll just tell me I'm lying, and I can't go to an attorney, anybody, law. But he told me I could never sue him because of the statute of limitations, okay? And he's an old man, about my age. I think he's a year or two older, very wealthy out there in Botetourt. You should see his home and his spread. But here is listed below is a summary of damages to rental property, and it's all lies. All of it's lies. Rent, 60, he's saying landfill 19, kitchen floor 20, 75, kitchen floor vacuum 70, leak 100, carpet 142. Oh, I must have really had a blast to be as old as I am, you think? To cause all that much damage as he's saying. He's lying. Bed 45, stove 88, deflectors 8, electric something. He's the one, he subtracted $3.92 for the electricity he had hooked up on and I didn't know till I left, on my bill out in the cottage, he called it. That was his bill that he had Do you follow me? What they've done and are doing is so hideous you can't even tell it. To his barn, he was charging me electricity for the barn where his animals were kept. And they went out and fed them for like an hour and a half in the morning before daylight, and at dark, after dark, where they had the lights and heaters and everything on. So here's something about okay, here's a duck check. I don't know what that is, $89. So he's got me owing him $692, and he had a copy, he said to the attorney, with pictures. It's all a lie. So I could go on. There's no need. I've had to go back to Edinbourgh, where '06 they did the same thing to me. So I reapplied because I need a place to be. And she told me that, well, they wouldn't have anything for 5 years. And suddenly she calls me back in a couple of weeks. I go in, and they've got one. But I'm leery of going back to where they've done this to me. If I have to break another lease, it looks bad, and they would deny anything they've done. Well, it was pretty, and, I was so tempted to get it because I need it so bad. And then on the way out, of course, you wouldn't hear this. She says, what are you going to do if it happens to you again? If the chemicals, we start the chemicals and soak you, the maintenance. And they all knew it, believe me, they were a party to it. This is the manager of it, Jennifer. Now then, I'm going to go back to Richfield. They booted it up from the manager still there that was at the Section 8 building at Richfield in Salem, Roanoke, Salem. And I had to leave. And it was a lovely, for me it was a lovely place. It really was. And to leave it ripped me apart, but it was killing me. So she, I don't think I put this on this one, the former manager, she's still there, by the way, but I applied again a couple of years ago, and she told me that my credit was no good. Well, this is Section 8 housing I'm applying for, and I've paid my rent. So she sent me, well, I told who it was, what's the big credit thing. Well, they sent me a letter back and saying they'd never heard of me. So now that I reapply, because I can hardly get around, in hopes that it won't happen again, they won't use chemicals or anything, at some point they'll stop it before I'm dead. Well, her name, it was booted up to Renee Williams, and whoever she is out there in charge of applications or something, and I've written her, and I called her a couple of times, and I've written her, and I even emailed her. And now then she's come back today with a statement about, let me see if I'm going to show it here. So evidently she knows I've put this on YouTube and on Facebook as a last resort since I can't get an attorney or the law to work for me. So she sent me this back. It's PHIPAA compliance statement. This communication may contain confidential protected health information. This information, including any attachments, is intended only for the use of the individual or entity to which it is addressed. The authorized recipient of this information is prohibited, that would be me. Now they're saying I'm prohibited from disclosing this information to any other party unless required to do so by law or regulation, and is required to destroy the information after its stated need has been fulfilled. If you're, okay, then so anyway, I'm going to show a little of that if I can. Well, anyway, I did the best I could on it. Anybody gets the gist of it. I'm sitting here and under conditions that nobody does videos under, and so what you've got here, you got affordable corporate suites. Let me show that before this goes off. This is where the state trooper took me, if I can find it here. And I don't